All right, let's see if this works. Is this working? I usually check it because I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to debrief. This is going to be awesome. See if I can find myself and see if I'm streaming or not. How do I see myself? Ooh, yes. I'm just going to assume it's working. We're going to debrief. I've slept on it. It's totally awesome. I had forgotten when I started yesterday, we didn't even have a diagram. So now we got a diagram. We got the architecture. At least it's a hypothesis. It could be awful or whatever, but it's a concrete hypothesis. I love it. Then on reflection and sleep, I realized I know exactly what's going on. So what is it? Web UI. Let's see if it's still in my history. Yeah, here it is. I was thinking everything overlaps so much, something's going to shake out of the tree. And the answer is Web UI will shake out of the tree for sure. Web UI is a cool way to start these agents. This browser use agent. Cool. I mean, so that's it. It's like a Streamlit or it's a simple UI. And all it does is kick off these subprocessors of these agents basically, or whatever it is. So that's definitely not needed. So that's good. What is happening is this browser use for sure. And then I glanced at some of their source code, their like Docker file here. Is it here? Docker file fast. Can't remember if it was this one. I looked at the web, the web UI one. This is cool. So this is it install? Yeah, here it is installing Playwright and stuff like that. Mount, cool. What is it doing? It is ultimately pip installing some stuff. Cool. So, yeah, Chromium. Now the web UI. Oh no, what was that? There was like a Docker. Let me see if it's in here. No, like Chrome. There was an awesome like Docker. Let me see, Docker for like XVFB. Let's see. I'm almost certain. Docker XV. Maybe this. The point is, there's all these tools for running like full desktop browsers, like even not only Chromium but Chrome in X frame buffer, and you can use what is it, that no VNC. Like this is a somewhat commonly done thing for this somewhat obscure kind of use case, or maybe it's becoming less obscure. I want to even say I did something like this a long time ago. I built a Linux distribution many years ago, and there was lots of, I want to say there was like a web-based VNC or something. So that's the idea. So that's right. So I think there's several ways to run a relatively kind of decent and well-maintained open source kind of Docker container. So that's correct. If I look at the architecture, this do pane here, I think will be certainly a browser, and most likely at the moment like a Docker container running. I'm going to say Chrome. Maybe if it's open source, you have to go Chromium for licensing. But the Web UI project had a nice like. I noticed, where's this web UI? Maybe do what they do. I'm sure they did this for a reason. If you look at their Docker file, here it is. They like commented out doing Chrome and it's recommended. So it's recommended and it's commented out. This must be for like licensing, I'm guessing. I know Chrome's like not quite as open source or as free, I might say, as Chromium. So if Chrome is problematic, we could try. Yeah, and the whole point of it was be like as compatible with anything as possible, be as liberal with what you consume or whatever. So, but so that's cool. It could be the same kind of technique where people can kind of turn it on. We're kind of out of the woods of the dark days of impossible, Chrome, all this stuff in a kind of open source free software world. So that's good. So Docker with headless X11 apps. I think this might be it. Can't remember. Maybe not. But the one I saw could like kind of came with built-in browsers of Firefox and stuff like that. It was cool. So that's the answer for the do pane for sure. The chat pane must exist for sure. So I'm happy with the UI of that I built yesterday. I don't know. It's still not clear to me if code like to. I think there's a little kind of research or thinking to do, or I think I know what I want to do. I want to just like maybe open up the source code or maybe build out a little bit of hello worldy kind of stuff to understand like Copilot Kit also wants to be an agent, but I already had plans for an agent. And so is Copilot Kit like, there's a protocol of like asking permission and stuff. So I think it's still useful, but I thought Copilot Kit would be like the world's greatest two-pane, like coordination kind of system, you know, in TypeScript or something. And it's all about kind of having basically the same app running in two wildly different UIs, if you like, and moving state all around them. But I think it may still be that, but also it's a startup or something. So we'll have to see. But whatever. I think the top priorities, though, is the things that I wanted to do today. If I had a top priority, I think there's two. One is now that I'm kind of inspired, I got the UI, I got the two-pane, I kind of get it. I like it. It doesn't have to work. I think one of the next steps is run some prompts, run some simulations with Claude Code. Let's see what Claude Code can do, and like to what extent wrapping it helps, or to what extent can we simulate making it do stuff. So for example, if the hypothesis is there's a big knowledge base about how to do stuff, when it's Claude's turn, as it were, to do something, it's on the table to like mess around the Git history or like rewrite Git or whatever that looks like, to give Claude lots and lots of relevant context and zero irrelevant context to hopefully guide it towards the right answer. So I think I may get on, maybe I think the fastest thing might be get on a chat system, get on an LLM and just ask it, hey Google, stop, and just ask it what are maybe give me some like examples of these kind of small businessy kind of use cases I've been thinking about, maybe as a starting point. Yeah, it's not clear to me if like, which is bigger scope, like a big mature operation, and you have to like go with the flow. You have to, you know, the agent, if you like, needs to hit the ground running and be it needs to be like Claude Code, like it's immediately kind of adding value within 2 seconds there to this like, you know, complex system. Is that bigger scope, or is it no, just starting new projects? But anything goes, you know, any new project. But I think the answer is the latter, or at least that sounds a little more fun to experiment with. Like how to pull Confluence into a little text thing doesn't sound interesting at the moment. So I think an experiment is, I don't know, like give me some use cases, or maybe even kind of write up a little unit test kind of thing or something. The idea with unit testing might be like, maybe the tests are kind of set in stone. They're like checked in, you know, but the like infrastructure to do it is not. There's just the prompts and the state, if you like, you know, to run. And the point of the way the test runs is if it were a unit test, let's say all the context is provided for Claude Code. In other words, Claude.md is populated properly and so forth. And then it's like, all right, build me a like chat network, you know, build me like a Jabber network. And I want, you know, things to happen, or like build me, I don't know where it ends. That's the point of the experiments. Build me like a back end and an iOS front end, and have them work on each other, you know, and have it be dev prod staging or something like that. Also my use case of like, I don't know anything about anything. I'm blissfully, ignorant. All I care about is like the, basically like the cost and like the risk, you know, that we're not doing anything dangerous, like putting, making things available for, data loss and things like that. So it's just like, try me something. It'd even be a fun unit test to be like, pick a random cloud. And, you know, if that test was always passing, which, you know, unit tests love to rot away and fail. That's the idea. And so then if the core idea of like, kind of, this is like the vibe DevOps idea. Can I say, all right, Claude Code, I've kind of simulated what the research and things like that might look like. It's kind of obvious, kind of, what Deerflow and, you know, the knowledge base, like how that all might kind of coalesce into a prompt at this time anyway. So given all of that, you know, off you go, Claude Code. And the idea is Claude Code's fingers are on the keys only. And then if the major question to answer is, how much value does this add on top of someone just sitting with Claude themselves? That's really the question I want to know, because it's already a great DevOps tool today. So to what extent is what's the sort of negative space around it, or what's the opportunity to add value to it, which is quickly testable? I don't want to like build an entire like knowledge base and populate that. So that's a priority. I don't even know if the chat, that's the priority. That's the priority. I think I had some other idea, but that's fine. So I'll go in 2 minutes. The last thing, let me pull up the history. I had two ideas, browser use and notes. Let's see. Right, what was my idea? I found the link. That's it, these because that was the project I found last night. So it runs Chrome and stuff like that. Okay. And then finally, maybe a T-shaped, it's a random idea. I just threw it in the whiteboard. UI experiment, T-shaped. Maybe there, so in other words, there's like the do pane, the chat pane, and then like the permission pane or something like that. It's either like wide. The point is it's wide. It's either at the very top or at the very bottom. And maybe like, my thought was sort of everything, all UI except chat moves to there now. I think that'd be relatively trivial to implement on the front end, to kind of separate those. And then I don't know, maybe then it's cleaner. It's like kind of easier to think about as a user. I kind of hate chatting. It helps. And every time they add widgets in, like just drop down, I like it more. Like the more chat feels like a web app, the more I like it, right? So random idea. These are two updates that were captured offline. And so that's the plan. So when I return, I think I will definitely return today to do this experiment. Thank you. Adios. Does this work? My mouse stopped working. I don't care.